Well, to begin with, my name is Neel Puri. I'm from India and I'm studying at PwC's Academy. Recently in March, I wrote F9 and F7 papers and I'm planning to start the P-levels in September. Well, first reason is that accounting is now completely computerized. So for me as a student, it makes more sense to be trained in a manner which will help me adapt when I go into industry. The second reason was that computer-based exams give me the flexibility to present my answers in a more coherent manner. And finally, I find it more easier to do computer-based exams because I can navigate through the screens faster and complete my paper in a more shorter time. Well, first of all, computer-based training helped me improve my technical skills. So far, I've been always trained to write exams on a paper. So switching to computer allowed me to adapt my style of learning, and it was something more relevant to what we do in industry nowadays because most of the accounting softwares are now based on computers. So while you need to have fundamental knowledge of accounting concepts, you even need to have the technical knowledge to apply these concepts on a software. So I believe computer-based exams were most impactful in this regard for my development. Well, I was lucky to have PwC's Academy support me in this regard. So they have an in-house software which is similar to what happens on the exam day. So the software replicates all of the functions which we would be writing on the portal. And the software was available for me for both practice and testing. So continuously during our classrooms, we were trained to practice on this software. And therefore, it was easier for me to approach the exam. We also had our training sessions and practice tests on this software, which allowed me to be more confident while I was approaching the exam. For computer-based exams, I feel most students are hesitant to write them because they haven't had enough training in this regard. And switching from paper-based to computer-based becomes a challenge because students traditionally are trained to write on paper. So my recommendation to the students would be to practice more on the computer, and if you don't have access to such softwares, try at least using spreadsheets to do your practices. Well, to begin with, I wrote all of my fundamentals on the computer, and the reason I chose this was because initially, yes, it is something new, but as you progress with it, you would find that it's a lot easier to do computer-based exams than paper-based exams, because firstly, your handwriting is not an issue anymore. Secondly, it's easier for you to structure your answers, edit them in the middle of the exam without worrying about overwriting or compromising on presentation. And finally, computer-based exams with the right practice techniques would help you get better results, and they're also more relevant to what you would be doing in the real world. So I would recommend you all switch to computer-based without having much of a resistance. And to get rid of that initial fear, you can try using the practice papers available on the ACCA's website, or if you have access to PwC Academy's softwares, you can try them as well.